Cambodia is a country founded on history and heritage. From the French colonial era to the horrifying rule of the Khmer Rouge, Cambodia has seen some tough times. Any trip to Cambodia is incomplete without an exploration into its important past. As much of the world struggles to post-growth, Cambodia's tourism and hospitality sector continued to expand and diversify, attracting more intra-regional activity and especially from major emerging markets in Asia. Cambodia is nowadays quite a famous tourist destination primarily because of its historical temples and many other important and fascinating places. Welcome to our channel Around the World with Dua Mumtaz. Today we are going to explore the Bakong is the first of the large mountain temples in Angkor. It belongs to the Roluos group, built at the end of the 9th century. If you like our informative video, please click the like button and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon so you will receive timely notification whenever we uploaded new videos. Let's get started. The Bakong and the other temples of the Roluos group, like the Preah Ko and the Lolei, were built in Hariharalaya, an early capital of the Khmer Empire. This area is now called Roluos, located north of Tonle Sap Lake, about 15 kilometers east of Siem Reap. The Bakong was built by King Indravarman I, who also built the Preah Ko temple and the huge Indratataka baray, a reservoir where water was stored to be used for irrigation during the dry season. It was the state temple of King Indravarman I, dedicated to the Hindu God Shiva. A stele found at the site states that the Bakong's main linga named Sri Indresvara was consecrated in the temple in the year 881. The main linga, which is a representation of Shiva, is usually enshrined in the central tower of the Khmer temple. One of the main attractions of the Bakong temple is its lintels, that contain very intricate, detailed and well-preserved carvings of mythical creatures like Nagas and Makaras. The structure of Bakong took shape of stepped pyramid, popularly identified as Temple Mountain of early Khmer temple architecture. The striking similarity of the Bakong and Borobudur temple in Java, going into architectural details such as the gateways and stairs to the upper terraces, suggests strongly that Borobudur was served as the prototype of Bakong. There must have been exchanges of travelers, if not mission, between Khmer Kingdom and the Sailendras in Java, transmitting to Cambodia not only ideas, but also technical and architectural details of Borobudur, including arched gateways and cobbling method. In 802 AD, the first king of Angkor Jayavarman II declared the sovereignty of Cambodia. After ups and downs, he established his capital at Hariharalaya. A few decades later, his successors constructed Bakong in stages as the first temple mountain of sandstone at Angkor. The inscription on its stele, classified K.826, says that in 881 King Indravarman I dedicated the temple to the god Shiva and consecrated its central religious image, a lingam whose name Sri Indresvara was a combination of the king's own and the suffix Esvara, which stood for Shiva. According to George Coates, the Devraja cult consisted in the idea of divine kingship as a legitimacy of royal power, but later authors stated that it doesn't necessarily involve the cult of physical persona of the ruler himself. Bakong enjoyed its status as the state temple of Angkor for only a few years, but later editions from the 12th or 13th century testify that it was not abandoned. Toward the end of the 9th century, Indravarman's son and successor Yasovarman I moved the capital from Hariharalaya to the area north of Siem Reap, now known as Angkor, where he founded the new city of Yashodharapura around a new temple mountain called Bakong. The site of Bakong measures 900 meters by 700 meters, and consists of 3 concentric enclosures separated by 2 moats, the main axis going from east to west. The outer enclosure has neither wall nor gopuram, and its boundary is the outer moat, today only partially visible. The current access road from NH6 leads at the edge of the second enclosure. The inner moat delimits a 400 by 300 meters area, with remains of a laterite wall and 4 cruciform gopuram, and it is crossed by a wide earthen causeway, flanked by 7-headed Nagas, such as a draft of Naga bridge. Between the two moats there are the remains of 22 satellite temples of brick. The innermost enclosure, bounded by a laterite wall, measures 160 meters by 120 meters and contains the central temple pyramid and 8 brick temple towers, 2 on each side. A number of other smaller buildings are also located within the enclosure. Just outside the eastern Gopura there is a modern Buddhist temple. The pyramid itself has 5 levels and its base is 65 by 67 meters. It was reconstructed by Morris Glaze at the end of the 1930s according to methods of anastylosis. On the top there is a single tower that is much later in provenance, and the architectural style of which is not that of the 9th century foundations of Hariharalaya, but that of the 12th century temple city Angkor Wat. Though the pyramid at one time must have been covered with bas-relief carvings in stucco, today only fragments remain. A dramatic scene fragment involving what appear to be asuras in battle gives a sense of the likely high quality of the carvings. Large stone statues of elephants are positioned as guardians at the corners of the 3 lower levels of the pyramid. Statues of lions guard the stairways. The inner enclosure contains a 5-stepped pyramid surrounded by 8 brick towers. On top of the pyramid is a single sanctuary tower. In front of the temple on the eastern entrance are 2 long halls positioned between 2 of the surrounding towers. At each of the 4 corners of the inner enclosure are brick buildings called libraries, although they probably did not contain any scriptures. Around the pyramid are 8 square brick towers, some of which have collapsed. Originally they were plastered on the outside and contained figures of Dwarpalasi and Devatas, a few of which have survived. All towers have a rear door at the east, the other 3 are false doors. The door knobs on the false doors are shaped like lion heads. The lintels in the towers contain some of the finest decorations to be seen in Angkor, with very intricate depictions like Vishnu on top of Garuda, warrior figures, animals and mythological creatures like Makaras and Naga snakes. 5 receding terraces in the inner enclosure in the shape of a stepped pyramid were built to resemble Mount Meru, the sacred mountain in Hindu mythology. The tiers of the pyramid measure 67 by 65 meters at its base and 20 by 18 meters at the 5th tier. At the center of each side is a stairway flanked on either side by guardian lions. The stairway, divided into 5 parts, becomes narrower at each higher level to make the temple look larger than it actually is using perspective. In front of the stairway is a large entrance gate. Opposite each of the stairs is a statue of Nandi, the sacred bull and mount of Shiva. The corners of the first 3 tiers contain statues of elephants. All the way around the perimeter of the 5th terrace is a frieze with bas-relief sculptings that have mostly eroded. On top of the pyramid is a single central sanctuary. The tower that completely collapsed was rebuilt during the late 1930s into the early 1940s by Morris Glaze, a conservator of Angkor. The restoration was done to resemble the original using the method of anastylosis, which involves reconstructing the monument as near as possible to the original, using the original materials if available. Judging from the style of the decorations, the original tower was probably built some 200 years later than the rest of the temple. Inside it is a sanctuary chamber that probably contained the main linga. Niches in the tower contain devta figures, most of which are in a bad state of repair. The pediments of the sanctuary contain several depictions of the Hindu gods Shiva and Vishnu. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We will see on our next video and will explore Babhua, a beautiful 11th century temple mountain with steep stairs leading visitors to a terrace which offers one of the best views in the Angkor.